All right, today we're going to talk about something called self-determination theory. It sounds a little academic, I know, but it's really the science behind what gets us going, what truly drives our actions and our passions.
So let's just start with this question, because I think we've all been there, right? You can spend an entire Saturday afternoon completely lost in a project. Maybe it's gardening or playing a video game. Hours just fly by. But then, come Monday morning, just starting that one mandatory report feels like pushing a boulder uphill. So what gives? It's not about being lazy, it's about the quality of your motivation.
And there's actually a name for this, a whole framework that explains this exact feeling. It's called self-determination theory, or SDT for short. Let's dig into what that actually means.
So, what is it really? Well, SDT is this super well researched framework that was put together by two psychologists, Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. And their whole goal was to figure out the basic, fundamental things that people need to not just survive, but to actually thrive.
Now, what I love about this theory, what makes it so powerful, is that it starts from a really optimistic place. SDT basically says that we are all born with this natural drive to grow, to learn, and to take on challenges. We're wired to be curious. So that means motivation isn't something you have to force, it's already built into us. Okay, so if that drive is natural, what unlocks it? Why doesn't it feel that way all the time? Well, the theory says that for our natural motivation to really flourish, there are three essential psychological needs that have to be met. Think of them like the essential nutrients for your brain.
That's it. Just three.
And what's so cool about this model is its simplicity. It's not a list of 20 different things, just three core needs. But getting these three things right, that can literally change everything. So let's break them down. First up, we have autonomy. This is that deep, deep need to feel like you're the one calling the shots in your own life. It's about having a sense of choice, of control. It's the difference between choosing to organize your desk because you want a clean space versus being told to do it. The action is the same, but the feeling is completely different. Next, number two is competence. And this one just feels so good, right? It's like, yes, I did it, feeling you get when you finally nail a new song on the guitar, solve a tricky puzzle, or just see your hard work pay off. It's the need to feel effective and skilled at what you do. And the third piece of the puzzle, and this one's huge, is relatedness. This is our universal need to feel connected to other people, to feel like we belong, to care for others, and to feel cared for in return. We are social animals, after all. We're just not built to go it alone. So, what happens when these three needs are met? This is where SDT gets really, really interesting, because it argues that the most important thing isn't how much motivation you have, but what kind of motivation you have. It is all about quality over quantity. The theory really splits motivation into two big camps. On one side, you've got intrinsic motivation. That's when you do something for the pure joy and fun of it. And on the other side, you've got extrinsic motivation, which is doing something for an external reward, like money or to avoid getting in trouble. And what's kind of wild is that research shows that if you add an external reward to something you already love doing, it can sometimes backfire and actually kill your natural enjoyment. So let's bring it back to that first example, getting lost in your hobby. That's pure intrinsic motivation. Slogging through that report, that's classic extrinsic motivation. You're doing it for the paycheck. And then there's this third state, amotivation. And that's when you feel completely disconnected, with no intention or energy to do anything at all. And this quote just nails it. The theory is digging deeper. It's not just asking, are you motivated? It's asking, how in control do you feel? How good are you at this? Do you feel connected? The answers to those questions are what determine the quality of what you're doing and whether you'll stick with it. Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this all actually play out in the real world? Let's talk about what SDT looks like in your life. This right here is the heart of it all. Think of your motivation like a plant. It needs the right conditions to grow. And our environments, our jobs, our schools, our relationships, they're constantly either feeding these three needs or starving them. A micromanager at work can crush your sense of autonomy, while a coach who trusts you can make it soar. And because it's so fundamental to who we are, you see this theory popping up everywhere. In schools, it's about giving students more choice to spark their curiosity. In healthcare, it's about empowering patients to own their health decisions. Companies use it to design jobs that are actually engaging and fight burnout. And in sports, it's how great coaches build teams that play for the love of the game, not just the trophy.
And here's the bottom line, the big payoff. When an environment gets this right, when it supports your autonomy, competence, and relatedness, the results are just huge. People don't just perform better, they feel better. They have higher quality motivation, they're more engaged, and they have a genuine sense of well-being. So that brings it all back to a final question, and it's not for a textbook, it's for you. Take a second and look at your own life, your job, your hobbies, even your relationships. Where can you intentionally carve out a little more autonomy? Where can you challenge yourself to build more competence? And how can you foster deeper connections and relatedness? Because according to this theory, that's the real secret. That's how you unlock your most motivated, energized, and authentic self.